Snack of the day, gingerbread man. The times I live for are times like this. Just me, on my own, quiet. What I've struggled for a very long time is to be comfortable in my own space. When you practice self-isolation, sometimes it turns into self-destruction, and sometimes it can be peace. And the balance between those two things are very hard. You see, this week I've been going to the park more often, and I train at the park. Now, since I go to the gym, I haven't been at the park so much. And ever since I started going there again, working out in the mornings, just catching the sun because the sun's coming out, being one with nature again, it honestly just puts me at peace. And although I'm alone, I don't have a single negative thought because one, I'm doing something that makes me feel happy. Training will always make me feel happy and clear my mind. For two, the kind of environment I'm in, and it just creates this sort of positivity around me. Now, sometimes when I'm in my room alone and it's just me in the house and I'm stuck with my thoughts and I feel lonely, I ask myself, why is this lonely feeling constantly coming back? And I realize that it's not just a me thing to feel lonely. It's not just because of what I went through and for how lonely I've been for a very long time, for how I don't really talk to a lot of people. And if I do, I can count on one hand the amount of people I speak to. It's none of that, because every single person goes through that loneliness. And I do believe self-isolation is a good thing. I do believe being in your own company is truly a luxury. You don't understand that all these people around us only create noise, good or bad. And that noise can only be blocked out when we are on our own. And if you do not practice being on your own, you don't understand how damaging it can become. Because at times when you are on your own, there's no noise and it scares you because now you only have the thoughts inside of your head. So you have to get used to being in a room where you can sit down, close your eyes, and it's just you and your mind. And I've practiced this over the years by force because I haven't really had a lot of people to talk to, and also on my own accord when I could easily talk to people. And what I've learned is that it's only gonna fluctuate. It's only gonna fluctuate. Like I said, when I was at the park, I was feeling amazing. And I do feel amazing. I'm in my own house as well and on my own. But sometimes in my room or just around my house when I'm just walking around, I'm like, man, this feeling starts to come back. And I'm trying to fight it. I'm trying to fight this lonely feeling where I feel like it's just me. Because deep down, I know it's not just me. I have a full family, healthy, still here. I'm incredibly lucky. I have people I care about, other loved ones. So how am I alone? And sometimes you have to remind yourself that. And I've been in a state of kind of overthinking for a long time. I've been stressing for months, but I've finally been able to have it under wraps. And I'm trying to control myself. And I see people argue whether self-isolation is a destructive thing or if it's something you can benefit from. And in all honesty, I think it's a bit of both. I think when somebody is just by themselves all the time, 24/7, they lose the ability to socialize. As much as people get on my nerves and I can talk about them for ages and I can talk about your self-worth and how to look after yourself and don't let people mess you about, we all need to know how to socialize. Literally 2 days ago, I'm with the missus. Her friend is hosting and they're just having like a chill day in his room. I remember walking up them stairs and I don't know, I can socialize very well. Okay, it's not a case of me blending in, although sometimes I may have to do that. But sometimes I just feel a little bit like an outsider. I feel very different to the people I'm around, and not in a quirky, edgy way, just in a normal way. And I'm sure everyone can relate to that feeling. So before I stepped in, I took a couple deep breaths. I'm thinking, man, let's see how it goes. But to my surprise, it was quite chill and laid back, which I like. So I appreciate that. And, you know, I appreciate getting out of my comfort zone because I'm so accustomed to saying no to social things because of how I felt. So it's not a fear of mine. It's just always something that I don't have an urge to do, but I'm glad I did it. But my point is is that since I've practiced self-isolation so much, I'm already expecting things to be worse than it is when I'm in a social environment. Before, that was never the case. It's only the case because of what I've been through and what I've experienced with people. Now I have this weird outlook, you could say, on how people act and treat each other, and I can just see through a lot of things. But I'm very glad I did that, because then if I didn't, I would have been set back. I feel like I'm actually making progress. Now, does that mean I'm going to be going to like parties and events and this and no, I just don't find that fun. I enjoy what I do. I enjoy just working. I enjoy just training. That's it. I just enjoy different things. But it does mean that I'm actually making progress. Damn, I'm all out of gingerbread, man. With that being said, I do feel like I'm at an advantage with people that are very social, or people that might be extroverts, because I'm a very introverted person. The truth is, I do believe there are pros and cons to being an introvert and an extrovert. I'm not going to say one's better than the other. However, I will say, for people that are very extroverted, when they are in their own space, they crumble. They can't handle it. And although there are moments where I start to get a bit shaky, I always come back to reality. You see, like I was saying before, when you get used to that noise, when it disappears, you don't understand why you can't cope. And it's because you never took the chance to be quiet. Being quiet is very important in every situation I'm in. Ever since I was young, my dad taught me, be quiet, because you're going to learn a lot of things about the people around you, and you'll learn who you truly are. A lot of you don't understand who you truly are. That's only going to take time. That's only going to take effort. And the way I learned was being quiet by myself and cutting out the noise. So the difference between an extrovert and an introvert is in those times when they're quiet, in those times when they don't have people to speak to, people to talk about, nothing to, then they crumble, they start to break, and they don't understand why. They don't understand why they're not okay on their own. Now, to an introvert, that's second nature. They can do that. And on the other side of things, they obviously struggle in social interactions. They're awkward, or they overthink things too much. Kind of what I do a little bit. But, like I said, pros and cons. Understanding that your time alone is quality. If you are not comfortable in your own space, if you feel like, man, I never want to be alone, then you need to think about the company you're keeping. You are keeping yourself company. To say to yourself that you are no good than anyone else is crazy, because your company should be the best form of company, because it's yourself. You need to understand that you can have fun by yourself. You don't need to do excessive things. I'm not saying you can't live your life, do whatever you want. I'm not against partying, raving, events, whatever you do for fun, gaming. I'm not against anything. As long as it's not degenerate and you're damaging yourself, that's fine. Do you. However, you need to understand that you can have fun on your own accord. You can have fun in those peaceful moments. And sometimes making sure that there is no noise around you isn't a bad thing. It's a good thing. I think when you will start to understand this, or some people already do, the best time to understand this is when you're in a relationship. Now, you might think that you want to be with this person absolutely 24/7. And for the most part, you do. But you'll probably want to be there with them 23/7, because you cherish the moments alone too. People don't talk about how your own space and time is important. I'm not saying people that say, I need time, I need space. I'm not saying they're the best of people, because that's just BS. You can have your space without needing to do all of that. My point is that having your own time and space to yourself is so underrated. And cherishing the moments where it's just you alone is important, because you might not always get that. You might not even have time to do that in the future. Think about it. When you have kids, a significant other, grandchildren, all that responsibility, you're not going to have that same time to yourself. You will have that time for yourself. You will have times where you can practice escapism and get away from it all. But it might not be as common as now. And I think people have this sort of take or thought of people that are by themselves, and they think it's such a sad and lonely thing. But I disagree. I think being in my own comfort is really a gift. I don't think being some sort of lone wolf is so sad, and I am constantly just craving and wishing I could connect with people, because the truth is, it hasn't worked for a long time. I do struggle to connect with people, but a lot of the times I want to just do me. And I think it's okay to do that. So if you ever think, man, I'm lonely, if you ever think, I wish I could be doing this and that, you have to make sure you understand the amount of growth you have gone from being by yourself. And if you're someone constantly around people, constantly texting this person, constantly on the phone, constantly at events, constantly socializing, I want you to at least have a day in your week where it's just you, or moments in your days where you are in your own space. Because not only will you learn a lot about yourself, you'll learn how to control that noise and be comfortable. So the daily reminder today is that having alone time is truly a luxury, because in the future, you never know how that will change. Anyway, that's me for today. Go and enjoy the day. I'm gonna catch you tomorrow. Okay.